Just take that. Duty is done. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have been doing what is called Vam Pada Vichara. From verses 8 to now, whichever verse we are on now, 15, 14, 12, 13.
13.
Finally. After going all over. Yeah. So we have been doing the analysis of the word I from the standpoint of this body, mind, sense complex. So at the outset, what did you do? So at the outset, from the beginning, we have the oneness. So in verse number 2 and 3, we have the expression of oneness between the jaded, fated Jiva and then who? Ishvara, the whole. And then after that, from the standpoint of the essential dharmas, not even dharmas, from the essential nature, Swarupa of Atma as Satchidananda, we saw that it's one and the same. And we also saw from the standpoint of the projection of this universe, the as though projection also, it's the same. Like we have from the standpoint of this body an internal projection, and then on the samashti level, there on the samashti means collective level, also there is a projection. Now, having done that, having given this wonderful opening, now the author is turning into the meaning of the word I, because the I and the not I are mixed up, tightly enmeshed. And this enmeshment of the not I and the I is indeed the cause of sorrow. Very sad and sorry state we are in, because the I and the not I are enmeshed. Atma, Anatma, and this Atma and Anatma are in a kind of a participating in kind of a mix-up. Participating means what? Atma is participating? No. Anatma is participating? No. Why? Jadatva. This is what. This is why the subtlety. Anatma is that body is not mixed up. Body is body. It doesn't even know there is a mix-up. Poor thing. No. It is Jada. So who is the cause of this mix-up? Ahankara, the one who takes the body to be me, as good as me. That is the cause of the mix-up. Why? Because that Ahankara is blessed by ignorance, Atma Jnanam. So because of Atma Ajnanam, and there is this mix-up, and that mix-up is a distorted version of the I that I myself don't want. I myself don't like. I myself don't want to subscribe to, but I'm helplessly mired in this mix-up. And so this verses 8 to 17 is are a certain form of sifting. First, the 4 areas of error or mix-up were analyzed. Body is the one area. I am as good as the body. If something happens to the body, oh no, something is happening to me. Nobody says the body has fever. And like I said, if you start talking like that, the number of friends you have will just decrease and decrease and decrease. Body has fever, nobody says. What do they say? I have fever. Body is hurting, nobody says. I am aching all over. Body is feeling good, nobody says. What do they say? I feel very good. I am feeling good. This is the problem. And so that has been negated. Why? Na deha aham. Why? Why I'm not the body? Just because you say I'm going to take everything you say for word by word? No, you are not the body because mamata parirabdhatvat. The body is embraced by a relationship to you. What is that relationship? Mind. There is a possessive relationship between you and the body. So that which stands in connection to you in a possessive relationship cannot be you. Simple. My house cannot become me. Although it does sometimes, somehow. But anyhow, generally speaking, it cannot become me. Then, same that was negated. Mamata, then also the body is a subject matter of I cognition or this cognition? This cognition. So therefore, anything I refer to by the word this is not me. This is demonstrable. And then mind also, same thing, not me. Buddhi, the intellect, the thinking faculty, the intellectual faculty, etc., the reasoning faculty, all that is not me. It may belong to me, that's a different thing, but it ain't me. Okay? And then, so manaha, buddhi, and then what else? The nadeho, indriya, prana. These 4 were negated. And in the Taittiriya Upanishad, they are called Pancha Koshas. 4 koshas are negated. The 5th kosha will be negated, verses 15 to 17 or somewhere thereabouts. So right now he's deferred that for later. Because he goes to talk about the 4 areas of error. Body is me, mind is me, senses are me, prana is me. Mind includes buddhi. Buddhi is also what? Me. So these 4 areas are negated because why? In each case, we use the pronoun mine, 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 mine. And we use the word this. So anything I refer to by the possessive pronoun and anything I refer to by the word this cannot be me. So then, having dismissed the 4 koshas, then he takes the subject of the 3 states of experience. This is all universal. Everybody goes to sleep. Everybody wakes up. Everybody dreams. And so there is an identification. The ahankara latches on to whatever it is. Just, the ahankara is a leech, really. He just latches on and sucks on off anything, siphons off whatever is there from there. It is really a leech. And so these verses put salt on that leech so that it will let go. Apparently, it lets go when you put some salt on it. I don't know. I haven't tried and I do not want to. So to dislodge that because it is holding on tightly. And it wants because it feels lost. The ahankara feels lost, homeless. We talked about that in the earlier class. It feels homeless. It doesn't have a sense of mooring. It doesn't have a sense of bearing. It doesn't have anything. It feels lost. It feels tired. It feels, it wants to stop looking for a home. Remember that story of the lost bird. What did it say? Am I your baby? And the cat said, no, you are my life. Yes, on dinner. So, you are not my baby. Are you my mommy? No, I'm not your mom. I can keep you in a safe place in the stomach. That's all. So, this way, the ahankara looks for some place because it is the most insecure thing. And it's the most discontented thing because it is insecure. The discontentment is there because the discontentment is there. The discontentment is there because the Atma Ajnanam is there. Because the Atma Ajnanam, self-ignorance is there, it takes itself to be what it is not all the time. And so here also, what does it take itself to be? Everything that it is not. And so it identifies with the sleeper. Alarm rings, so it cannot identify with the sleeper. Prarabdha gives it a kick and wakes it up. And then what does it do? It identifies with a waker. It identifies with a dreamer. It's really a lost soul looking for a home. And that why the three states of experience cannot, I cannot just be one of these three states of experience was talked about because of the fact that I am a witness of all these three states. So the states belong to me, but I am not any one of them. I am that which is the truth and the continuity, that because of which there is a continuity between the states. That awareness, consciousness, I am. This was demonstrated. This is just a recap. And then after that, what was taken up? After that, the question of the ego itself was taken up. What is this ahankara was taken. So two things we learned. We cannot inquire into it. As soon as you inquire, because it's a non-entity, posing as an entity. It's an imposter posing as a poster. Yeah. The poster child of Atma Jnana, Ahankara. So, this is what it is. This Ahankara is just, it's an imposter. Like when you come into a dark home and then switch the light on, what happens? All the creepy crawlies curry under the things, yeah, and especially in tropical countries. And then you say, when did you come in the house? I didn't even know you were there. So its curry is under something. All right. So the ahankara also, when you shine the light on the ahankara, it goes, uh-oh, I don't like the spotlight. I'm off. It goes and hides in a dark place because it cannot stand the inquiry like modern day politicians. Cannot stand. As soon as the inquiry is that they have to resign. Yeah. Or they have to go off the, they have to go to remove themselves from the ballot. And so that is one definition we saw of the ahankara. What was the other definition? One is vicharam nasahate. It cannot stand inquiry. What is the other definition? Avichara sundaraha. As long as you don't inquire, it looks very put together. Like a celebrity. Before a wardrobe malfunction. Yeah. So, the celebrity looks very, very put together. Everything is in place. Everything is wonderful. Some accident happens, something happens. And then everything that is, everything that is not I, not I means relative sense, does not belong to the celebrity comes out. Teeth borrowed, teeth implanted, hair borrowed from somebody else, in the form of somebody else's hair. It's a wig. Yeah. Nobody should know, otherwise the person will get wigged out. And then what else? And then we have hair, teeth, nails. Sometimes people have nails up to here. Yeah. This much nails. On all the 10 fingers. And they're working as a cashier. In a shop. Aghatita ghatana patiyasi maya. Maya makes the impossible possible. I'm very curious about all these things. I get into conversations with these people. You see, are you able to do this? Yeah, no problem. How can you type? I manage. And then she herself said, I'm not very good at it. But I manage. Cashier means some numbers you have to do. Beautiful nails, but how to work? You have to be born as a princess to have those nails. You have to just sit like that and look pretty. That's all you have to know. Nobody has to come and peel the grapes and feed you, and that's all. Those hands are not meant for working, but still it is there. Maya. So the ahankara gets caught up in all these kinds of things. Avichara sundaraha. Then I asked another question. What happens if it breaks? Oh, the whole face changed. She was a very smiling person, very happy-go-lucky person. Oh, that would be really bad. I said, are they your own nails? And this big they were. Up till here, they are my own nails. After that, what? Extension of the nails. Everything is an extension. Hair extension. And then what else? Nails extension. Reputation is also extended. Degrees are also extended. Sometimes the visiting card they will give, they used to give. In India, they still give out visiting cards. So the name will be tiny, small. And then after that, all the degrees will be there. You run out of the card. A, B, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, like this. So many degrees. Avichara sundaraha. Don't inquire into it. So the ahankara wreaks havoc. And so the ahankara here is brought out. How is it brought out? It's brought out in a very interesting way. It's brought out with the help of the analysis of the three states of experience and through the analysis of Chit and Chidabhasa. But that is why the ahankara shines as Chidabhasa, because it is nothing other than Chit. But it is what? It is Chit which identifies with everything that is Achit. That is what the ahankara is. Because Chit does not, that is Chidabhasa. Chit does not identify with anything. Everything identifies with Chit. Chit does not identify with anything. And so here, through the analysis of the three states of experience, the ahankara was falsified as what? As the ultimate cause, as the ultimate Satchidananda. It has been falsified. So then, having done that, then in the Shastra, the common way of looking at the body or anything that is finite is through the analysis of the 6 stages. The first 4 are okay. Nobody minds the discussion of the first 4. Jayate, wonderful, is born. Oh, let us give sweets. They distribute sweets and all. Vardhate, asti, wonderful. Viparinamate, celebration. Very nice. The last 2, nobody wants to hear. Apakshiyate, vinashyati. Nobody wants to hear. One is in denial of the deterioration and death. The last 2 stages, one is deterioration and the other one is what? Death. Nobody wants to hear about that. So who am I? I am the observer of all these stages. If I am the observer by our wonderful logic, what am I? Not the stages themselves. Shadvikaravatam vetta. Nirvikaraha aham. I am by necessity free of all vikaras. Vikara means modifications, changes. I am free of the vikaras because I am observing the vikaras. Anyatha, otherwise, vikaranam, for these vikaras, anusandhanam kutaha syat. How can you do research into the changes? How can you say there are 6 stages? Somebody thought about this and classified into 6 stages. If they were stage number 3, do you think they could have observed and classified? No. They would be trapped by being in the stage, which means there is inertness, which means that one is not able to cognize. See, in order to cognize movement and changes, there has to be a changeless conscious entity. To cognize movement, there has to be a still entity. And that is what the aham, the atma is. Okay. And so up till here we have seen. And then I gave a long introduction. And what was the long introduction? The long introduction was talking about the this vijnana. Yeah, the verse number 12. After that, I gave a long introduction. Vijnana. So here we have a methodology of bringing in the contenders. One of the contenders here is a Kshanika Vijnana Vadi, one of the proponents of the theory of flickers of consciousness. And this theory posits that there is nothing continuous. Then why are you sitting here? You're sitting here because there is a series of flickers. You are blessed. The body is blessed by visiting flickers. I can't say it with a straight face. Visiting flickers of consciousness. Visiting flickers of consciousness. Flicker means what? Born, gone. You can't even say is. Born, gone, born, gone, born, gone, born, gone. Then, from the standpoint of Vedanta, we ask, where was the first flicker? It has to come from somewhere. What was the birth of the first flicker? How was it born? Was there a mama flicker to give birth to this baby flicker? And if there was a mama flicker, then already this continuity has been established. So this does not bode well for Kshanika Vijnana Vadin. Flicker consciousness, flickering consciousness. Then the next question we ask is, how does one flicker, see, one flicker rises, falls, and a new flicker comes from somewhere. I should just be going like this. Already I can't remember what was said in the last class. No. Now I can't even remember what was said just 2 minutes ago. Why? That flicker, which did the grahanam, which grasped the information in the first 5 minutes of the class, is what? Gone. Now a new flicker, blessing the buddhi, is listening now. The buddhi is blessed by a new flicker of consciousness to listen now, and I'm rapt. Oh, Mahavakya is coming. That one flicker gone. Asi, new flicker. What? What? And then we ask the question, does the departing flicker have the time to send a quick SMS to the arriving flicker? Because otherwise, it flies in the face of the continuity I experience. I experience the same I. I wish it were a new I, but it's the same I with the same problems I'm experiencing. I'm not experiencing a brand new I every time. I wish that were the case, but that's not the case. Yeah, that itself shows. The complaints are what? Not different complaints. I registered the same complaint yesterday. I registered the same complaint the day before yesterday. I registered the same complaint at birth. I would have registered had I had the language. And even in my own deathbed, I will register the same complaint. It's a chronic complaint. That means what? There is a continuity. There's a continuity. It's not new complaints. It's not new experiences. So therefore, this flicker theory is a bat with which the Purva Pakshi comes to strike. Who? Us, the Advaitins. So we don't, we don't fight with them. We just, as I said earlier, we say, lovely bat. Can I have a closer look? They're happy. Oh, you want to know more about this theory of flickers of consciousness? Here, take. You take the bat and game with that. You beat them with their own argument. And that is what is here. It's a very, it's what should say, dripping with sarcasm. So we have to revisit verse number 12 a little bit because this portion I had to say, okay? So Vijnana Viratihi Suptihi. What is Supti? Supti is the cessation of the flickers of consciousness. That's why I said he need not have used the word Vijnana. He could have used the word pratyabhigya, or he could have used the word knowledge. Anything he could have used the word. Memory he could have used. But he uses the word, what does he use? He uses the word vijnana as a kind of a interesting, he's trolling the Vijnanavadi, Kshanika Vijnanavadi. Because the word Kshanika also comes. That, later on it will come. Tat sakshinaha katham me syuhu. So I am, this Vijnana, these flickers of consciousness do not belong to me. Why? Because I am the witness of everything flickering and non-flickering. Flickering. Because they belong to the three states of existence and I am the one who doesn't have the Samanya Jnana. I am the one who has Samanya Jnana, doesn't have Vishesha Jnana. I am the witness of Vishesha Jnana, specific cognitions arising. I am the witness of all of them, so I cannot be a flicker because I am counting the flickers. So I cannot be the flicker. Okay. And then now we go to verse number 15, and that also requires an explanation because here we are, the author is sparring with the logicians, Tarkika Shastris, Nayayika, and the cousins once removed. What are they? Vaisheshikas. Various kinds of logicians, Tarka Shastra. And then, I'm certainly not an expert on Tarka Shastra. In fact, I don't know anything. I just know enough to be able to criticize them. That's all. I don't know, And but this is important to see the problems here. So then, what is this Tarka Shastra? They say that the whole world comprises various kinds of materials. Dravya, there are 6 kinds of things they talk about. Dravya, guna, materials which have attributes, and then sambandha, relationship. We talked about this 3 kinds of sambandha. That is from the pages of the Tarka Shastra. What were the 3 kinds of sambandha? Samyoga, Samabhaya, and then Tadatmya. 3 kinds of sambandha we talked about. This is all a present to us from them, the Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas. So now, they have the Dravya, Guna, so many things are there. And then the Dravya and the Guna has connected with a certain kind of either an inherent connection or a coming and going connection or a connection of identity. It just is mind-boggling how they even look at the world this way. They do not have Ishvara at all. And they just want to see, so for them, the whole thing starts with Paramanu, atom. So they are some kind of, ancient scientists, you can say, but totally trying to make logic out of those things which are not subject to inference. They're trying to infer Ishvara. And then they go horribly wrong. So how does inference operate? Like, for example, you can say, like this. All people are mortal. Socrates was a person. Therefore, what? Socrates was mortal. Yeah. So this is the kind of a logic. In Sanskrit also, we have the same kind of a thing. Idam jagat sakartrikam. This jagat must have a creator. Because you see, I didn't make this. I didn't make the sun. I didn't make the moon. I didn't make the 5 elements. So somebody must have made it. And then, idam jagat Sakartrikam. We can also say that. Idam Jagat Sakartrikam. This Jagat must have a Karta. Sakartrikam means Kartra Saha Vidyate. That which is along with the Kartra. Karta. Kartra, third case. So, along with the Karta, that which is Vidyate Sakartrikam. Idam Jagat Sakartrikam. What is the Hetu? How do you say it is, Sakartrikam? Because there are many things which I don't know. Karyatvat, because everything is an effect. I see that. And then we can give a what is that? A postulate. So the logic, the hetu is there. And then along with that, we have to give a vyapti. And the postulate. What is the postulate? Prasadadivat. So just like we see locally a mansion, a palace being made, we know that the palace did not just magically come up like one of those bouncy castles. For children's birthday parties, they have this. Dangerous things. Suddenly it will go off in the air. Certainly so many things, terrible things happen. But anyhow, somehow these children like it. And so the bouncy house suddenly comes up. All it needs is a air machine. What is that called? Electric pump, air pump. And then you can, but a real castle is not like that. It doesn't suddenly come up. What happens? It slowly comes up. First you see the foundation, then you see people working, and then after that you see the walls, outer walls. Then you see stained glass and all these other things. Carpenters come and then masons come and everything, and then finally it is made. So therefore, we know that there must have been a mastermind who thought about all this, aka architecture. So who thought of the architecture, so the architect would have put a blueprint, and then along with the knowledge of the architect, we need the raw materials, and so that's how the prasada, the jagat of this palace is made. The jagat in the form of this, the local jagat in the form of this palace is built. We say that. Very nice. And so this we know. So therefore, this jagat of names and forms also has the intelligence behind it. Because you can't suddenly, we can't build even a room, forget the palace without blueprint. You start building and then suddenly you have a suffocating sensation. You are inside and you made it a tomb, forgot to put doors and windows. Ayyo. So you can't do that. You need to have it all to the final square foot. You have to have it measured out. And you cannot encroach because this is where your land ends. So you cannot say, oh, I can just take 3 feet this side and 4 feet this side and have a bigger room. Authorities will come after you. Can't do that. So all this has to be properly planned. You cannot say, I ran out of space and do something there. You can't do that. Everything has to be properly planned, and this Jagat is properly planned. Even though I beg to differ, I think it's not properly planned. Why? Because of my own prejudices and preferences. I say that Jagat is not going according to my liking. That's not a proof for why it is improperly planned. In fact, it is properly planned. That's the proof that it is properly planned. For your own growth and for your own karma, how else will you eke out the karma? You have to have that. So what will the logicians do? They will say, aha, you also like logic. We are the experts in logic. You say, idam jagat sakartrikam, and then you just use the example of the palace to help yourself understand what the Shastra says. The Shastra says there is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam, that the cause of the universe is singular and non-dual, and it is both the maker and the material. Because if you want to do something, you can borrow the ingredients from somebody else. Where will Bhagavan go? There is nowhere else to go. And so the maker and the material are one and the same, and there is only one non-dual consciousness, we say, and we help ourselves to a little logic with this little palace analogy. Nayayika doesn't believe in Ishvara, doesn't have Ishvara, doesn't want to understand Ishvara. Nayayika does not have, what else? Does not have any other desire to be taught. Nayayika says, why should I be taught when I have many things to say? So let me edit your analogy. Idam jagat aneka kartrikam. Why not say this jagat has many, many, many Ishvaras? Not one, many creators. You only talked about the creator. I'm just helping you. I'm not interested in creator, but since you brought it up, why not you say many, many creators this Jagat has? Why? Anekatmakatvat. Because each thing is different from another thing. Like prasadadivat, like even a palace, one person cannot build. How can the Jagat one Ishvara make? That to your Ishvara? So this is you can see how this is causing a headache. Okay. Yeah. So so if you want to go to a logician's class, a class on ancient Indian logic, you have to have Tylenol next to you. One you should take before the class, one after the class. Because it's like a head spinning argument. And somewhere along the line, you are lost. This is how it is. You are lost not because you are unintelligent. You are lost because it's impossible to follow. It's like going in a maze, in a spiral. And so now we are ready to enter one more spiral. You have been forewarned. But even before we go to the text, I have to give you the contours of this nonsensical spiral. They have, see, we say nothing is born, nothing dies, because consciousness, matter doesn't die. Matter itself in the universe is transformed. So death really does not matter because it cannot touch even matter. What to talk about the conscious being? Who is the observer of matter? If matter doesn't die, how can the conscious being die? We said nothing dies. Nothing is born. It's all there. Idamagre asit sadeva. Sadeva somya idamagre asit. Before this Jagat came into being, it was sat. It was in a what should I say, compact, avyakrita form, non-manifest, unmanifest form. The Jagat was there. It's not that the Jagat suddenly is born. This continuity, this unendingness, the Nayayikas do not subscribe to. You know what they say? They say, well, you know what? The thing is, I see things getting dead and born all the time. What is birth? You ask the Nayayika. Oh, thank you. I have a theory about it. I never thought you would ask. Let me define birth for you. Birth is the last moment of non-existence. What? Exactly. It won't help, but I'll express this in Sanskrit. Prag abhavasya charamakshanaha janma. Janma, birth. So it is the last moment of the prior non-existence of something. In fact, they have 4 kinds of non-existences. How can you have 4 kinds of non-existence, even one kind of non-existence? What are you talking about? No. This is one kind of non-existence. What is that? The last moment. Let's bring the pot out. It's needs a little TLC. Okay. So here's the pot. Somebody made it, correct? So before they made it, what was it? Clay. So then as the pot was being fashioned into a shape of this pot, then as soon as the potter took it off the wheel and said, aha, this is pot. Before that, what happened? That was the last moment of the prior non-existence of the pot. Now, I have butter fingers. Does that mean? No. Pot is what? Shards. Shards. Pieces. Then no more is there pot. So the pot is non-existent. That's a very boring way to say it. Pot is no longer existence. That's just, baby talk. Talk like a Nayayika. What will you say? Talk like a logician. And the logician will say that the first moment of the posterior non-existence is the death of the pot. Pradvamsa means the destruction. Pradvamsa abhavasya prathamakshanah. The first moment of the posterior non-existence is one kind of non-existence, and the last moment of the prior non-existence is another kind of non-existence. And if you ask them, what, pray tell, is the difference between the last moment of the prior non-existence and the first moment of the posterior non-existence, they will not be able to say. They'll just say, you don't understand. That's all. Then, as though this is not enough, there are two more kinds of non-existences. If it is not existent, how can you count the ways? I don't know. So then there is anyonya or itaretara non-existence, abhava. Itaretara abhava. So the abhava means non-existence. So then there is anyonya, mutual non-existence, in the sense that if one is not there, the other is also not there. Then finally, we have atyanta abhava, absolute non-existence, like the horns of a rabbit, absolutely non-existent. This is their lingo. Okay. He uses their own lingo in order to make a very interesting point. So let us see this verse now after this long introduction. न च स्वजन्मनाशं वा द्रष्टुमर्हति कश्चन तौ हि प्रागुत्तराभाव चरमप्रथमक्षणौ. So this, he uses it very nicely. Okay. And then he says that nacha swajanma nasham va. Swajanma means, did we skip a thing? Oh yeah, I'm just wondering, something doesn't sound right. Yeah, okay. All right. Anyhow, remember this, whatever was said. Okay, don't forget, because that's for the 15th one. We skipped 14. Tena tena hi rupena jayate liyate muhu vikari vastu tasyaisham anusandhatrata kutah. So this is referring to the 6 modifications, 6 vikaras. Okay. So 6 vikaras, it says, tena tena hi rupena. Tena tena hi rupena means according to those 6 modifications, according however those modifications are there, in keeping with those modifications. Okay. In keeping with the modifications, what happens? Then the vikara vastunah. Vikara vastunah means these, for these changing things, of a thing which keeps on changing, what happens for that? Tena tena hi rupena, according to these modifications, in keeping with the modifications, jayate liyate muhuhu. Again and again, something comes into being, and then something is destroyed. In every moment, something comes into being, something changes according to its modification, according to its rules of the modification, and then something is destroyed. Okay, yeah. So the modification of objects, correct? And the modification of objects is not witnessed by the objects. That is the idea. It's an extension of, it's a conclusion of the six, it's nothing new here. Yeah. Tena tena hirupena means in keeping with the laws of those, the physical laws, anatomical laws, whatever laws are there that governs the modification, in keeping with the modification, objects in the world rise and set, come into being and are destroyed. How many times? Repeatedly. Muhuhu means repeatedly. Muhur muhuhu means repeatedly, repeatedly. This is the Indian English. Slowly, slowly. Do this slowly, slowly. No, no, you're going too fast, fast. You know, so this is muhur muhuhu. Again and again. Even in English, we say that. Again and again. And then, so, if I am also an object, subject to, forget six vikaras, forget, subject to even one vikara, then can I observe the vikara? Can I observe the vikara if I am subject to the vikara? Answer is what? No. If I am subject to the modification, I cannot observe the modification. That's why I can say saggy. That's why I can say baggy. That's why I can say foggy. So that means what? I'm neither saggy nor baggy, not at all foggy. I'm the observer of, see, we have our own three vikaras. Saggy, baggy, foggy. We have our threefold modifications right here. So this is very, very interesting. So here, what is said is that things rise and fall. Empires rise and fall. Civilizations rise and fall. How do you know? If you also rose and fell, there wouldn't be a history book called the history of the Mesopotamian civilization. There would be no history. There would be no continuity. In the absence of the observer of the modifications, there is no continuity. And this is exactly what the thing is. So even to say, I don't know, let's say that is a vikara. I don't know something. Earlier I knew, but my memory is gone or going. Now I don't know. To say that what is needed, that awareness is needed. That observation is needed. So in other words, you cannot count the vikaras. You cannot be a witness of the modifications if you were subject to the vikaras. The vikaras come and go on their own. And then it says, if the observer were absent, vikari vastunaha tasya esham anusandhatrita. Anusandhatrita means who is there to be aware of the changes? Where is the observer? If the observer is subject to the modifications, how can the observer say these are the six modifications? So that's how it is. So the everything in the universe is subject to modifications except for who? The one who is the observer of the modification is free of all the modifications. Who is this observer? Witness consciousness. This is again a trolling the Kshanika Vijnanavadi and all the other forms of ancient Buddhism, which says there is no permanence. There is no permanence. And they have a stock example. What is the stock example? You take a firebrand and go like this in the dark. So as long as you're going like this, what is there? A circle. And then when you stop, there is no circle. Okay, they say, see, there is nothing. We use the same firebrand. In the Anatha Shanti, we use exactly the same firebrand to say that not that there is anything, it's not that there is nothing. What is there? The glowing stick is there. That is the Atma. As though changes worlds, you can sign your name in the dark with a flourish. You can draw a tree. Tree is there. A flaming bush is there. You can draw mountains with that firebrand. You can draw that. And then you stop. Yes, all those Namarupas gone. But that which is the content of the Namarupa, the cause of all the Namarupas, itself free of the Namarupas is very much there. We take that same example. That's why Gaudapadacharya is confused many times with the Buddhist, because there is a remarkable similarity. Because where Mithya is concerned, they have got it. It's the same. Only thing is there is no Satyam. That's the thing. Everything is Mithya. Then Mithya without Satyam is of no use. So this is the place of divergence here. And so Gaudapadacharya, writing the Mandukya Karika, has to at the end say, Etad buddhena na bhashitam. This is not said by the Buddha. It may sound Buddhist because we are very much similar, but then there are certain divergences. That is the thing. Okay. And so this is again to show the difference that there is a continuous entity. That's why he's beating this bush very much so, because there is a continuous entity in and through these six modifications, in and through this thing, because an object that is subject to change cannot say everything is changing. Even if the Buddhists say everything is changing, the constant person is saying there is a constant entity which is observing the change. A changing entity cannot observe itself changing. Right? Yeah. And so that is that is the thing. So then therefore, then that really takes us to the next verse very, very easily. What does it do? Then we say, Nacha swajanma va nasham va drashtum arhati kaschana. Arhati means capable. Shaknoti ityartha. So, kaschana, anybody. Swajanma nasham. Swajanma or nasham va. Can you observe your own birth? No. Can you observe your own death? No. Can you, in the form that you are, read your own obituary? No. Unless you wrote it when you were living. You can't. Some people do that. You can't. So therefore, you can't observe your own birth. You can't observe your own destruction or death. Not just you, anybody. No one can. Nacha swajanma va nasham va drashtum arhati kaschana. Why? And then he gives the two kinds of these Nayayikas terminology. Praguttara bhava. Praguttara bhava means the two moments of pragabhava and pragabhavascha uttarabhavascha pragottara bhava. Praguttara bhava. So the two moments of non-existence. The one before the birth and the one after the death. The two moments of non-existence. Can you see? Can you recollect? You cannot. The last moment of the prior non-existence, and then what else? The first moment of the posterior non-existence, you are not able to do that. You cannot do that. Okay. And so, so therefore what? So therefore, see, this is this means what? This means that logically, we cannot come to this conclusion of the Satchidananda as the changeless observer. Logically, you can perhaps. You can say, whatever you observe, you are not. So you must be there if you're observing changes. But many times they are not ready to accept that. So therefore, we have to bring it like this. Can you look at your own birth? What is the answer? No. Can you look at your own death? No. Okay, keep quiet. That's all we have to tell them. So two kinds of abhavas are gone. And then you can't say there is absolute non-existence, because if there is absolute non-existence, who is the proclaimer of the absolute non-existence? Who is the proclaimer? I am the proclaimer. That means, do you exist or not?
Yes.
The non-existent cannot cognize non-existence. Why not? They are the same jati. Let them, let them. Non-existent cannot cognize non-existence. Non-existent cannot cognize the existent. Is that possible? No. There is only one possibility. The existent can cognize non-existent of a particular entity at a particular place. This is what Anupalabdhi Pramana. This is what it is. So, this is where so these Nayayikas, the Vaisheshikas, their cousins, and various other shades of ancient Buddhists, because they are not there now. You know, the ancient Buddhists, these Kshanika Vijnanavadi, Madhyamikas, Kshanika Vijnanavadas, and then one more is there, I forgot the name, but anyhow, all these are there. Ekadeshis, all these are taken, and then their own instruments are slowly taken from them, and they're given a beating with the same instruments with which they were trying to attack this philosophy. This philosophy cannot be attacked. Why? Because it is just positing the changeless. The changeless I alone can observe the changes. Even to say everything is changing, I must be changeless. So that is the idea. Then what is the next one? न प्रकाशेऽहमित्युक्तिः यत्प्रकाशनिबन्धना स्वप्रकाशं तमात्मानं प्रकाशः कथं स्पृशेत् अप्रकाशः कथं स्पृशेत् together. न प्रकाशेऽहमित्युक्तिः यत्प्रकाशनिबन्धना स्वप्रकाशं तमात्मानम् अप्रकाशः कथं स्पृशेत्. न प्रकाशे, I do not shine. Prakashe is not seventh case, okay? Yeah, of prakasha. It's a verb here. Na prakashe, I do not shine. Meaning, I am not self-existent. Iti, this is a quotation. Iti uktihi. This kind of a claim. This kind of a claim. And what is the claim made here? Na prakashe. I am not, I am not, I don't shine. Meaning, I am ignorant. Iti uktihi. I am ignorant. I don't know. I do not shine. Meaning, I don't know. I don't know when I say, then that I don't know is dependent upon the I know. This we have already said. Yat prakasha nibandhana. Nibandhana means dependent upon. That which is dependent upon which light of consciousness, which knowledge, that is me. That is what, very beautiful, very profound verse. And we'll spend some time on it tomorrow. So, that is me. Why? Swaprakasham tamatmanam. That I, which is self-lit, which is self-evident, aprakashaha katham sprishet. How can ignorance affect the self-illumined, luminous self? Lot of word play on the word prakasha. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ How is your foot? Paining? Nothing. You want something? You want to take something? How are you? Nice to see you. Wonderful. This is Amber from Portland. When are you coming? January?